Okay, so the Hard Dogs are two kids from Brooklyn, New York in the projects, now living in Dallas, Texas, and we are now millionaires because of entrepreneurship, side hustling, getting out of debt, and we also have a baby girl that's 7 months.
So we had $114,000 of debt, and we got married, and the goal was like, listen, it was New Year's, right?
Yep.
It was New Year's, and she's like, I want to travel more, and I was like, I want to save more. And I was like, we can't do both.
We're paying our bills on time. We're doing everything. So why do we need to pay off debt? He's like, I think we can do it. It's something. I think we can go for it. I'm like, all right, fine. So finally, like, agreed to it. Had him sign a contract and everything to make sure that we're on the same page about it.
Well, so talk about your journey into entrepreneurship. Where, like, after college, did y'all have corporate jobs? Did y'all jump right into entrepreneurship? How was that?
So I still have a 9 to 5.
You still have a 9 to 5.
I still have a 9 to 5 now.
As a millionaire, running a 7-figure business, right now, as we speak, at the time of this recording, you have a 9 to 5.
2022, yes.
Wow. I get your program, and I'm like, all right, I'm gonna start a cleaning business. How much am I investing in to start my cleaning business?
So to start, we say $1,500.
Okay.
And
$1,500. Cleaning business.
To start your cleaning business.
That can make 7 figures.
Yeah, exactly. It's a low startup. It's a low startup business.
Yeah.
And that's not in one shot either.
Yeah. Hey, wait. I know you want to watch this next video, but listen, if you are an entrepreneur, business coach, business consultant, or a small business owner who has a story and wants to learn how to create multiple streams of income from your story, I need you to text me right now, my book, to 646-687-4152. That is my personal number. I have been an author for over 12 years. I've written 10 books. 4 of them have been bestsellers, and I've sold over 100,000 books. But I've also helped a lot of my clients take their expertise and put it into a story, then create multiple streams of income from that. So I want to help you do the same thing. So text my book to 646-687-4152. All right, let's go back to the video. So welcome to another awesome episode of Inside the Vault with Ash Cash, the greatest money mindset show on the planet. Listen, cleaning up nice takes a whole new meaning with the Hard Dogs. Not only were they able to create a 7-figure cleaning business without picking up a mop or a broom, but they were able to clear 6 figures worth of debt while they did it. A husband and wife team, new parents, and successful entrepreneurs. Today, we get a chance to talk about how they manage it all. We have Janoka and Anthony Harzak in the building.
Yes.
What's up?
How y'all doing?
Good. I love the energy.
Love the energy.
I appreciate y'all. Because look, y'all native New Yorkers.
You already know.
So I got to bring that out. Y'all from Brooklyn, New York. For those who don't know, in your words, who are the Hard Dogs?
Okay, so the Hard Dogs are two kids from Brooklyn, New York in the projects, now living in Dallas, Texas, and we are now millionaires because of entrepreneurship, side hustling, getting out of debt, and we also have a baby girl that's 7 months.
Nice.
That's who we are.
Nice. I love that. So before we get into how you became millionaires, I love this though, right? Because I'm from the projects too, generated millions of dollars as well, it's a beautiful thing to be able to be at a space where they was telling us we wouldn't amount to anything, we'd be dead or in jail, like government jobs. No disrespect to anybody who has a government job, but that was the trajectory for somebody coming out the projects. And to be able to say, yo, I'm a millionaire is inspiration. So I love, first and foremost, I love that. So I want to dig into that a little bit, but y'all have a beautiful story. How did y'all meet and how did y'all get together? Like, y'all grew up in the same building out here.
Yeah.
So we met, like she said, she was on the 6th floor and I was on the 4th floor. And we were young. We were 12 and 13 years old. And literally leaving the project building, I used to see her going out because she traveled a lot with her family. My family never traveled, so every summer I was on the project bench just chilling, playing basketball or whatever, and she was like going to Panama a lot with her family. And one summer before she left, I told one of my boys, like, yo, just go get her number right quick. Literally, he ran up to her. He's like, yo, my boy like you. And the rest was history. That's how we first, like, we knew each other, but that's how we first became boyfriend, girlfriend.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. And then y'all wind up being in that relationship since then, or how did that happen?
Oh, no. But he's older than me, so he went away to college, and so we separated then, and then we got back together once I graduated from college. So that's how.
What was that first call
went.
like though? Like,
I
you
don't
came back
even
from college,
remember.
and he was like, "Yo, what's up? You back? Let's get
No,
into
because
it."
I didn't want to be with him. I was like, I was not going to be with him. So that was not the conversation. I don't even remember how it happened, but I think like one of my friends ended up going to the school that he went to upstate in Albany, and we decided to visit up there, and then we decided to stay with him and his friends, and that's how we started talking back again.
So you
yeah.
saw him, like,
Yeah.
I want that old.
I don't think it went like that, but I'll let you have it. I'll let him have it.
I'll take it.
Yeah, and then so you know, 6 figures worth of debt.
Yeah.
I want to start there because you know I love to paint the picture because a lot of the people who watch the show, our insiders, are high earners. They have they make a lot of money, but trying to figure out how to create that financial freedom for themselves. And I'm sure a lot of them have student loans and things of that nature. But 6 figures worth of debt. How did that happen?
So we had $114,000 of debt, and we got married. And the goal was like, listen, it was New Year. It was New Year's, right?
Yep.
It was New Year's, and she's like, I want to travel more, and I was like, I want to save more. And I was like, we can't do both. We can't travel more. We can't save more. And I was listening to a lot of financial literacy podcasts around that time, and I was like, yo, there are people that make less than us paying off more debt than us. I was like, this is possible for us. And she was like, nah. She was like,
Because I'm like, what's the rush? What, like, at that time, I've never heard of anybody paying off debt, to be honest. Obviously, it's something that people do, but I'm like, why would we do? Why are we doing it? Why are we the guinea pigs? Like, we're paying our bills on time. We're doing everything. So why do we need to pay off debt? He's like, I think we can do it. It's something I think we can go for it. I'm like, all right, fine. So finally, like, agreed to it. Had him sign a contract and everything to make sure that we're on the same page about it.
Will I? Like you made him sign a contract.
Yeah, I did.
Like about your finances?
Yeah, about how we would go about it, because like he said, he was listening to the podcast and I wasn't.
This is after you got married?
Yeah, it's after we got married. Yeah, it's not a prenup or nothing. This is after we got married.
Yeah.
He was in the space, and I just know how he is. When he put his eye on something, he's gonna hit the ground running.
Yeah.
It don't matter who's in his way. And I'm very like, okay, but we live in Dallas. We have family in New York. If I need to go back, I'm going back.
So that was in the contract.
Those type of things were in the contract. I'm obsessed with Beyonce. I'm like, if she has a concert, we're going.
Right.
So little things were in there that just kind of meant like we will still continue to have conversations about it. It won't be like you're just telling me what we're doing.
Yeah.
So that type of stuff is what I put in the contract to make sure that we remained on the same page throughout the process.
Let's stay there for a second, though. I love that because I believe that black family equals black wealth, right? And the number one reason for divorce is usually finances. And so somehow you guys had the foresight to say, all right, we're gonna get into this marriage, but we're gonna get into this financial journey, but we're gonna make sure that within this financial journey, we set some rules and parameters ahead of time, so that way nothing spirals out of control.
Yeah.
First of all, that I need to make copies of that contract, right? And start saying that's a product. Right?
That could be.
That's gonna save a lot of marriages. My wife was just here. I'm glad she's not here because she'd have heard that. We probably don't let her watch it. But talk about that, like the thought process behind that. Like talk about that.
I don't know what made me say that, but I think mainly because I know my husband and I just know how he is, and for him it would be like, we ain't doing nothing, we just paying off this debt, nothing else. And for me, I was like, well, I still want to live a life and enjoy while we're paying off this debt, because we don't need to be, it's not like we're drowning that like some IRS is knocking at our door or anything that we need to be rushing this or doing anything. So I'm like, this would help us to have those boundaries and to keep him on track of things we spoke. Okay, we spoke about this. Remember, you signed that contract that we have on the fridge. So let's make sure that we're honoring it. And so it worked out for us. And like I said, we had it somewhere that we can reflect back, but we didn't really have to look back much. I think that he was open to the things that we were discussing as we went along the journey.
Yeah, and it wasn't nothing crazy. I mean, aside from the Beyonce tickets, It wasn't nothing crazy on
Yeah.
it. So it was easy to say, all right, let's do this. As long as she was on the same page with me and we were
Yeah.
gonna go and take this journey seriously, it wasn't a problem.
And so talk about your journey into entrepreneurship. Where like after college, did y'all have corporate jobs? Did y'all jump right into entrepreneurship? How was that?
So I still have a 9-to-5.
You still have a 9 to 5.
I still have 9 to 5 now.
As a millionaire, running a 7-figure business, right now, as we speak, at the time of this recording, you have a 9 to 5.
2022, yes.
Wow.
I still have a 9 to 5, so I'm still part of that. I would say our entrepreneurship journey really started when we started paying off debt and side hustling. Because what we did, where most people cut back their expenses, we did a little bit of that, but we raised our income.
Yeah.
So we started taking on multiple jobs. We had like 3-4 jobs on top of the 9 to 5s that we had. At one point, I had like 2 9 to 5s and these side hustles and stuff, and starting the cleaning business. So that was the start of entrepreneurship for us, 2017.
Wow.
Really. Yeah.
I love that way. Hold on, though. That just took another whole life, though, right? Like, do you have a 9 to 5 as well?
No, I left my 9 to 5 a couple months ago.
December. Not even a year yet.
Yeah.
Wow.
December 2021.
So you mean to tell me that as someone, a couple running a 7-figure business, why do you still have your 9 to 5? Why did you just leave?
He would have left early if I would have allowed him to, but I was like, no.
Yeah.
I think it's the thing of identity. So I'm a mental health therapist, and I'm licensed in Texas and New York, and I had to get my master's for this, and I'm like, I worked too hard. I had too much student loans to give this up.
How much was that? 70,000?
Yeah, my private loans was
70,000
70,000. For my master's, it was that high.
Half of our debt was our student loans.
Yes, more than half. Definitely. But I think that part of it, like letting go of that identity part, is what's holding me back now. Do I understand that our businesses can go further if I wasn't there? Absolutely. I know that for a fact.
Yeah.
But that's where I'm at now. I'm not saying I'm never going to leave it.
Yeah.
Let's be clear. I just haven't left it yet.
Yeah. No, I love that because I think that, if y'all watch episode 44, which is Storm Leroy, how to become a millionaire while working a 9 to 5, like that was his story as well. He was working for Verizon, became a millionaire, and it gives you like a different level of freedom.
Right.
So I love that, because too many times within entrepreneurship, people make it seem as if you cannot be successful as an entrepreneur if you have a job, when your job is your first business partner, it's your first investor, and you guys have shown that. And so how did you get into cleaning?
So listen to a podcast as always, and I was talking to this kid on Facebook, and his story came across my timeline about him cleaning houses to pay off his student loans. Yeah. And I hit him up and we were just talking for a little bit, and I said, this is something we could do without the cleaning part. And he was finding people to do the jobs, and I was like, we could do this.
Yeah.
And I brought the idea to Janoka, and she was like, nah, we're not gonna do this. We're not gonna start cleaning houses.
I shoot down all the ideas.
She's like, we're not gonna start cleaning houses. And once I came back again with more structure, I was like, we could build a business where we outsource the work.
Yeah.
And we hire contractors to do the labor, and we just take a percentage of that business.
And you learned that from the projects, the middleman.
The middleman makes all the
Poppy,
money.
you know what I'm saying?
Exactly. The middleman makes all the money. So I brought these ideas to her, and she once I structured it in a way that she understood, and she's like, all right, we're not gonna clean houses.
Yeah.
We might be able to do this. And that's kind of how we started.
And that's how we started. And so we're 5 years into the business already now.
Wow. And so take me through, right? Like, because that's what I'm realizing. I'm realizing that middlemanning is really the best way to build you can build $1 billion business by middlemanning, right?
Yeah.
So you think about Airbnb, Uber, right? Uber, all of these multi-billion dollar companies who Airbnb owns no properties whatsoever.
Right.
They provide the software and people use it and become a $1 billion company. Uber owns no cars whatsoever. So you're like the Uber Airbnb of the cleaning business.
That's exactly how we explain it to people. Yeah, when people are like, well, how? I'm like, exactly how they do it is how we do it.
Yeah. So walk me through that, right? Walk me through sort of like, the business structure, or how you do what you do, and how you were able to scale this to a 7-figure business.
So we look for contractors, so people to do the work. When we look for people that actually clean already, so they already have their own business, they have their own clients, but they want more work. And so people always like, well, why would they work with you versus themselves? They may be getting 5 jobs, we can provide 50 jobs, right? So they want more work. Same thing like a taxi driver or Uber. He can drive by himself, but how's anybody gonna find him?
Right.
Uber, everybody will find him that way. So they want more work, and our clients book us online. We have everything online, so they can pay us online. They see how much it costs and everything like that. So once our clients book us online, we find the contractor that wants to do the job, and we send them out to the job to do the cleaning.
Wow.
That's essentially how we run the business, and they get a higher percentage because they do the actual work. But if you think about it, they may be doing 2 cleanings a day. We can have 11 cleanings going a day.
Right.
So in the end, we're getting more, right? But we do give them a higher percentage.
And is this residential, commercial, all of it, or
We just do residential.
We primarily focus on residential,
Wow.
but our students have taken a course and went on to do commercial and stuff like that. But we just do residential.
Wow, wow. I love that because it's almost, it's like a win-win for everybody, right? So not only are you providing the service to the people who are looking for it, you're getting the people who are already cleaning more business, so you're actually helping their families, their economy. You're building a business, but then now you also teach people how to run this as well.
Yes.
And I think that's why I like this model already. When you sold me. Right? Like once you told me you still have your job, you sold me, right? Because to understand that somebody's working a 9 to 5, they don't have to leave their 9 to 5. They can literally start this business that you already figured it out. You did it for 5 years. You figured it out. You say, hey, this is how you do it. You got all the kinks out, and almost like you're giving them a business in a box. Why would you teach others, and why wouldn't you just keep all the money for yourself?
That's a great
Somebody
question.
asked that
So
one, too.
we were used to be on IG Live or YouTube Live, and we realized people started asking questions because we wasn't sharing much information because we figured that nobody wants to know this industry because it's a cleaning industry. It doesn't sound sexy. It's not like the Ubers or the Lyfts or the Airbnbs or Turos, things like that. But once you started talking about it, people started asking us questions like they want to know more about it. And we said, if there's enough interest in this, we'll start just giving the information away.
Yeah.
So we were just on Instagram just giving the whole game away, all the sauce, and we realized that people weren't taking action. So when we started documenting the process a little bit more detailed and started selling the information, people started getting their businesses up and running within 4 to 6 weeks.
Wow.
And we said, all right, now we got something, and people are taking this information seriously, and now we can start, promoting the information a lot more further.
Yeah.
Wow. And so talk a little bit about like the success stories you guys have had with some of your students who have, started their own cleaning businesses.
It's through the roof. We've had, like today we got somebody that said within 3 months they already had 10,000 in sales.
Wow.
We have a student that did 400K in 1 year, better than we are. A lot of our students are doing better than us.
Wow.
We have another student that opened 3 locations, obviously still living in 1 location. So we have constant testimonials of students just telling us their growth. And just getting back to your question before, it's all about impact as well, right? There's enough room for all of us. There's enough room, even if we sell it and 2,000 people buy, 2,000 people ain't opening their cleaning business, let's be real, right?
Yeah.
So there is enough room that people can grow and have the same success that we've had to become millionaires, to leave your 9 to 5, to have your job if you want to and not have to be there.
Yeah.
So that's the reason that we continue to kind of give the information and sell our course.
Wow. What does becoming a millionaire, like what has that done for you mentally? Like how does that feel to be able to
I don't think that we process it a lot though.
Yeah.
Like every once in a while we write a caption like, damn, we really are millionaires.
Yeah.
Like it sounds crazy, it sounds crazy, but I don't know if we do anything different.
Our lifestyle hasn't changed, much,
Really?
honestly.
Yeah.
I mean, we talk about our story all the time. We're from the projects, and we go back. We were literally staying in the same project building we grew up in less than a week ago.
Wow.
Yeah.
We go back. Our family's still there, so we go back pretty often.
Yeah.
But it allowed us to impact more people. Like
Yeah.
we have a lot more income, so we're allowed to give back to our family and friends a lot more givingly without a problem. So I would say that's the biggest impact or biggest change for us.
Yeah.
And so let's go back though. Like, has any of your family members treated you different though? That now that they know you're a millionaire, or it's been
No, absolutely not. No.
You hear those stories all the time, like you make it no.
Right.
Because we share so much, like everything that we know today, they already knew we tell the story so much, and we share every single thing we were going through.
Yeah.
Whether it's good, bad, and different, we share with them so they know the journey coming up. So if we made it in the cleaning business, they already had that blueprint when we first started.
Right.
Some of them may have taken it. Some of them like, you know what, I don't want to do that, but they had the information that we have.
Yeah,
So no one
yeah.
treated us any differently.
No, I love it. And then like as a dualpreneur, I guess, right? Like as a 9-to-5er and running a business. Somebody watching right now wants to start that side hustle, wants to create their own thing, but doesn't know like where to start. What's the first place that they would start?
With side hustling, we say sometimes if you're at a 9-to-5, maybe look at your job, but like, can you do OT there? Like my job, I can't, but some jobs you can, and you can start to make money there. It doesn't have to be completely something that takes you out your home, right? So something automatically there. And then he always says something that people always ask you about. There is something that everybody in this room or somebody always asks you about, family, friends, like, how do you do this? How do you do that, right? You probably can start doing. Like I've had a friend that she likes to shop, so she's always putting outfits together and stuff. And I'm like, okay, we're going away. I need can you get an outfit together for us? And that would be like a business for you, right? So is there something that people ask you about that you can start to profit on? Because I know a lot of times we're scared to put a tag to it, but people will pay.
Yeah.
People will pay.
And we had a friend who has amazing handwriting, and she started calligraphy.
Yeah.
And she started writing calligraphy for people and charging for that.
Wow.
Like, something that people always say, you have an amazing handwriting.
Yeah.
So start with what you're good at.
And so, or just start a cleaning business, right? because do you have to? And this is something that there's always a debate about. They say do what you love, you never work a day in your life, right?
Yeah.
And so, I don't know if you love cleaning, right?
Oh, I absolutely do not. I absolutely do not.
Yeah.
We say be passionate about what that brings you. So if we're passionate about traveling, passionate about family, that's what the cleaning business gives
Allows
us.
us.
That's what we're passionate about.
Yeah.
Not necessarily the job or income that we're creating from that, but what it allows us to do. That's what we're passionate about.
Yeah. And what would you say is the time commitment? Like how long do you have to dedicate? Like let's say somebody takes your course, goes through the whole program, and now they're ready to get their business up and running. What's the time commitment to?
The average to get it up and running is 4 to 6 weeks.
Okay.
4 to 6 weeks. Now we have students that are doing it at 4 weeks, some people that take 8 weeks, depending on their availability and how much time they can commit to it. And time can look like 10 hours a week, right? 15 hours a week. It's not like a full 40 hours a week or anything like that. To get it up and running from LLC to getting the first client can really take 4 to 6 weeks.
Wow. And that's only 2 hours a day. You come home, you at 5 o'clock, 5 to 7, 8 to 10, something like that.
Right.
And that's literally what we were doing. We would leave our jobs, come home, put in 2 hours of work Monday through Friday, maybe Saturday a little OT, but that's what we were doing to build this business. It took us 4 weeks to get it up and running. We started the journey October, and we had our first client Black Friday weekend in November.
Wow.
Yeah.
And then now look from 2 hours a day to a 7-figure business.
Yeah, and now we have an operations manager in place, so we don't even.
And that was actually going to be my next question about systems, right? Because I know for me, as when I first started out, and to make 5 figures, just took a good idea. Then when I got to becoming a 6-figure business, it was all about hustle. I was hustling. I was hustling. I was everywhere, running this 6-figure business. But when I crossed over and became a 7-figure entrepreneur, 8-figure entrepreneur, there was 2 main things. It was teams and systems that got me there. Can y'all talk about that a little bit?
The teams part, I think, and we were speaking about this recently, when people start businesses, especially in this day and age, they see social media, they think it's something quick. I don't think anybody teaches you how to run a business, right? So a lot of times we're in the business and we just want all the profit, and we don't want to bring anybody else in there. Like, that's going to cut into our profit. But like, we brought our operations manager in right when we were having our baby this year, and the next month we did our highest month ever.
Wow.
Right? So yes, she's taking some profits, but now we're making more money.
Right.
So I think that people need to like restructure that and know that it's an investment. Like, you don't want to be in the business all the time. You don't start a business to be like another 9-to-5, right? You want to be able to have the freedom. You want to be able to do what you want and check in as needed. So having teams in place, I think is crucial. And you're not going to get everybody in one shot, but slowly building that up, I think is necessary for a business to really run. Like, Like Jeff Bezos is not delivering packages.
Right, 100%.
Okay?
Exactly. Yeah.
Elon Musk is just talking.
Exactly.
He's tweeting, right? So if you think about that, at some point they probably were nitty gritty in it, but then you have to take yourself out of it to actually grow and scale the business.
Right. I love that, and I don't want y'all to miss that, right? Because at the end of the day, people are holding on to the seed, right? They're holding on to it, instead of spreading it, right? And planting it, because when you plant that seed will grow, and it's actually going to grow more of its kind, right? So if you're holding on to this money and you're like, I'm going to save this, or I want all the profits myself, you're not going to be able to grow where you need to grow, because when you plant that seed in that employee or that person that business partner or whatever, that person, once you plant that seed, if it's the right person though, is going to help that tree grow, and then now you're going to have more, money that's growing out of there. So I love that, because I agree. I do think that people are afraid to grow, to scale, because they have a lack mindset, right? And in order to live in abundance, you have to have an abundance mindset. So talk about, right, like the mindset of a 7-figure entrepreneur, right? Because I know that, again, you become somebody different as well, in order to run that operation and make sure it runs. So talk a little bit about the mindset of a 7-figure entrepreneur.
Yeah, it changed the game for us. Our mindset changed completely, because when we were trying to get to that 6-figure mark, like you said, it was us doing everything.
Yeah.
And it took us to be removed from the business to get to that 7-figure mark. But in order to get there, we had to be around the right people. It was just us. Like, it's fantastic being around your wife. Like, we're family. We're doing it. We're killing it.
You better say that.
Yeah, we're killing it.
It's okay.
But it took us getting coaches. That was important.
Yeah.
It took us getting into a community of like-minded people who are already at that 7-figure mark. Yeah. They're like, yo, you're doing too much. Like, you need to be able to see people who are doing different things, so that you can change your mindset so that it could grow. So I think that was the two biggest changes for us: getting around the right community and getting coaching in different areas that we were lacking.
Yeah. No, I love that, because even as y'all watching here, if y'all hearing and y'all seeing, like, look, they got the blueprint. They're gonna teach us how to create a cleaning business. Watch how to figure it out yourself, right? Like, why not pay in order to get the information? And that's the biggest cheat code I've learned as well. I'm a part of a lot of masterminds. I paid a lot of money for it, but at the end of the day, all of these were investments. I've probably tenfolded my investment in these masterminds for that exact reason of just being in the right space, right? Being around other people, especially when you get to a level, and I would love to get your thoughts about this. You get to a level, and because of where you come from, you almost become like the top of the bottom, if you will, right? No disrespect to anybody who's from the projects or who live in a low income environment, but you get to a level where people are proud of you. Like, oh my God. Like, I remember, I started my career as a banker. I was 19 years old. And I remember I didn't leave the projects till I was 24. So you got to think, for like 5 years, I'm walking through the projects, like the kid that got kicked out of school, got in trouble a lot, was fighting and all that stuff. Now all of a sudden they see Ash in a suit and they like, oh, that's crazy. So now I went from being like the guy that was most likely to get locked up or do something stupid to now everybody, the old ladies are like smiling down. Miss Jenkins is like, hey, baby, you know what I'm saying? And you get to a point where you start to love that. I mean, like you love being the top, like people looking up to you, people proud of you. But then you realize that, man, in order for me to grow, I got to get uncomfortable. I got to be around, other people who could stretch me where what I'm actually doing isn't enough, right? Talk a little bit about that.
When you just said that, I thought about what they call college boy.
When I first went to college, they used to call me. I used to come back every summer. They call me college boy. But just kind of being around different individuals. Like, we had a local cleaning business call me. He's He's run his business for 15 years, cleaning business, and he doesn't do anything in his business. He has employees, and he does it differently. But he was literally just calling my phone the other day, just asking for advice on something. And I'm like, I need to be asking you for advice. I want to get into your office. I want to sit down and talk to you about this stuff. So that was a major change for us. And I agree with you. When you become the top of the food chain, I guess, you start to fill yourself too much. You start to fill yourself, and you start to not even think about other things that you could do. I'm calling him back like, yo, I want to become an 8-figure entrepreneur in the cleaning business space, which is totally different from where we are today. So that's huge for us.
And then some of what you say I find to be a bit of the opposite, only because, like you said, you were still in that environment. So for us, when we started our cleaning business and entrepreneurship, we had moved to Dallas by then, right? So we got married May 2016, moved to Dallas June 2016, started entrepreneurship in 2017. And so what we find and we discuss sometimes is, not that we don't hear it enough from friends, but it doesn't feel like you're at the top all the time because I don't necessarily want to share exactly because they're not entrepreneurs. Like most of the friends are not entrepreneurs, right? So like parents and everybody are like, oh my God, you guys are doing great things. Once we explain what we're doing, because your parents don't know what's happening at first. They're like, wait, what? What are you doing? At first. So that has been something that we kind of go back and forth with. Like, it's not that you don't feel the love from your friends, but it's just different because they just may not understand it exactly or just not in that same place. So I don't find that we feel like we're too at the top because a lot of the times we're trying to get into bigger circles a lot. Because like we want to be around people that we can share this thing and it feels normal or feels like that's too small, you need to think bigger. So
and I like that, and I think that that's something that people should keep in mind, right? Like I remember TD Jake says don't share your big dreams with a small mind, right? Right. And then what happens is when you're in the environment and you're you're thinking at a different level and you're trying to share that with with that level, they could potentially be deterrents, if you will. Right? Like if you're in the environment where you don't even put yourself in the environment where you're the top, right? Like you put yourself in environments where you're like connecting with people who already probably done what you've done already. So now it's constantly like pushing you up. So I love that, and like the ability to have mentorship and to build. And so talk about that dynamic of being a husband and wife, building a family business, working together. Like how is that dynamic? How do you make it work?
How do we make it work, babe?
We're both outgoing, outspoken too. But I think we focus on like both of our weaknesses and strengths. And so we know that helps us. Like I said, I'm a mental health therapist, so a lot of the customer service side of it, then I would handle because he would get like just frustrated. People are crazy. People, this business has taught me people are crazy. So he'd be like, just get it over with, and I'm more of like grooming them and talking them through it. And he was in IT before he left, so he will handle the tech side of things. And we're very big on like we have family meetings, so we can check in and check the temperature with each other as well. Like, are we spending too much time in the business? Times when, like I said, if something's on his mind, he's gonna hit the ground running. So I have to be like, okay, we're not talking about business right now. That's not happening. We're doing something else. We're going out, and I'm not talking about it in the Uber ride either. Don't tell me nothing about it. So I think setting the boundaries, knowing our weakness and strengths, is a big thing, and we communicate a lot, even outside of the business. Just in a relationship, we communicate a lot. So that has been helpful for us.
Yeah, and that debt-free journey, where we were having monthly meetings about money, we were having weekly meetings about money. All that did was translate over to entrepreneurship. The same meetings we were having then about money and finances and business and our marriage, same meetings we're having now. So that's huge for us, and that's what we continue to do.
Yeah, no, I love it. And speaking of that journey, teach us, right? Like, how do you pay off 6 figures worth of debt? Like how does that happen?
You got
a lot of conversations.
You got to want to.
Knowing your why, a lot of conversations. Knowing how much you owe, right? Because a lot of people know, like, okay, I got 20 on my car, I got 50 on this, but nobody knows the full amount because they don't want to know the full amount.
That's scary.
They don't want to know the full amount. I get it. So like knowing that number, once we knew that number, a big game changer for us was budgeting. really. We were paying our bills and everything on time. Everything was fine. But once we started to budget, we started to see like, all right, we have this amount of money left over after we, budget everything for our bills, budgeted for our brunches, budgeted for everything. We still have this amount of money left over. So what can we do with it? Throw it towards debt, right? And then with us getting other jobs and raising our income, all of that would just go towards debt. So we have our 9-to-5s, right? Think about that. And we're high income earners. And we have these side hustles and everything. So there are months we're throwing $3,000, $5,000 towards debt.
On average, it was about $5,000 a month that we were throwing towards debt.
Wow.
And we both picked up extra jobs at Equinox, which is a gym. We was making like $9 an hour.
Yeah.
On top of I was making 6 figures at my job, and she was making close to it. We picked up a job paying $9 an hour just to get some extra money in there.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's like next level
Yeah.
determination.
We think about that now. We're like, we wouldn't do that now.
That was wow.
But it's what we did. It's what we did. Yeah, we did that. And we were watching dogs, and we had both of our cars on Turo. So we were doing all the things to make sure that we paid off this debt and pay it off within 23 months.
Wow.
And then have enough money just in case Beyonce went on tour.
Which she did. But
we was lucky.
but yeah, we had that.
No, I love it. I love it. And so how has becoming a parent affected entrepreneurship for you?
It's changed the game because
Yeah.
I was so regimented with a schedule.
Oh,
I
yeah.
wake up at 6, I go to the gym, I come back, shower. Now I wake up when Alani wakes up, and and now I'm kind
I
of.
be telling him, I'm like, listen, you go ahead with your gym because that ain't happening right now.
But I think it made me more hungry. Honestly, having a daughter, it made me more hungry, and we realized that. Before it was really for us.
Yeah.
Now everything is for her. It's like, God forbid, worst case scenario, if we ever, divorce or anything like that, she could go continue her life, do her own thing. But Alani will always need her parents.
Yeah.
She will always need money. She will always need finances. And so that's something that changed the game for me.
Yeah, and I think the freedom and the time has become more important, right? Because like he said, he's very structured. So when he left his 9-to-5 in December, there's times he was still in the office till 5. And I'm like, in our house office, mind you. And I'm like, why are you still there? If I wasn't at my 9-to-5, I would be 2 hours, if that, in there, and then deuces. So then I just have to remind him, like, you left to not do that, to not spend so much time there. Yeah, there's gonna be some seasons that you gotta be in there longer. But you left to not be in there all the time. So we have this flexibility to now be with our daughter and spend the time with her.
Yeah.
So I think time is just so much more important now.
Well, we went to story time at the library, which I didn't know was a thing during
Yeah.
the day with the other families and the nannies and stuff. And that was the first time she crawled.
Yeah.
And we literally sitting there watching her crawl at 12 o'clock in the afternoon during story time. And I'm like, if we was both at work, we would have missed that.
Right.
So that's changed the game for us.
Yeah. Yeah, and I love that because I think for me that's the best piece that I love about entrepreneurship is, being able to make money, with my family. So my wife is the head of operations for our companies, and so I'm the pretty face, and she just runs everything, and we're able to go on vacation, and when we go on business trips, we take the kids with us. So I have a 14-year-old daughter and a 7-year-old son. And so we're able to travel as a family and have that, that level of freedom, and just kind of like painting that picture of, having it all, right? Because again, I believe abundance is our birthright, and a lot of times people have to choose between should I do this or do this? But I'm saying and both, right? Which is why I love your story because some people do I keep a 9-to-5 or do I do I have a start as an entrepreneur? And you guys are like both, do both, right? Which is why I love the Cleaning Business University, where you guys are literally giving the blueprint, like telling people how they can have that freedom, right? Like how they could, especially if you have a family, like even if you don't have a family, but having that freedom to do what you want when you want to do it. What will people learn inside of Cleaning Business University?
Yeah, we give you the full curriculum on how to start your business. So we're telling you how to find your contractors. We're telling you where to post your job ads. We realized that as we went through this process, people didn't even know how to interview people. So we said, all right, here's the questions that you ask in the interview. We're writing them down. We're giving you test interviews as well. How to find your first contractor, how to get the first jobs. jobs will come easy. People are like, how would I find clients? We tell you how to put your business out there to be at the top of Google, so that people type in, let's say, Dallas cleaning services, you'll pop up at the top of Google. Clients will find you. And then what happens when you get that client? How do you keep them on the schedule? How do you make sure they're reoccurring? How do you make sure they're happy? Those are the things that we're giving out all in the curriculum as well. How to hire virtual assistants. Because we had to go through this. We had to figure this stuff out. It was like, well, we want a virtual assistant. We didn't know what that was when we first started. How to hire a virtual assistant.
Also getting your website up and running, because we run everything online, so you need to have a website, right? So we team with someone that gets the website up and running for them and things like that, because I know a lot of people like, I don't know any tech, I don't know this, I don't know that.
Yeah.
So we've answered all that questions, like the LLC, the bank account, what your yearly expenses look like, what your monthly expenses should look like. All of that we've included throughout this course, literally from the LLC to getting the first client and keeping the clients as he stated.
We put our biggest mistakes in there, our biggest losses, so that we didn't know that you had to charge sales tax in Dallas for a service, which may sound simple, but we didn't know that when we first started 5 years ago.
This was our first business.
Right.
So we
got a bill from the IRS, like, you owe $15,000, and we was like, what?
Who owes what? And this was on a Friday.
Right.
I'm like, you better get on it.
We called them, it wasn't $15,000, but we realized that you got to charge sales tax, and we put that in the course as well. So those are like everything that we put in there.
Yeah, no, I love that, and again, I think that there's something to being the middle person, right? Like using a strength-based approach, right? Being able to use the structure that you guys have built, allow others to use that structure to not only create financial freedom for themselves, but then also, create financial freedom for the people who are already doing the work, right?
Yeah. Some of our contractors, they paying for their children to go to dentist school, to medical school, and so different vacations that they send us pictures. So it has allowed, and when we started, we didn't even think about that impact, right? And so it really has allowed, like you said, for them to have their own ecosystem and for their family to continue to grow as well, because they get paid really well. They get paid really well.
Yeah, no, I love that, because almost like 1-800-Flowers. Like I remember that's when I first knew about like this model, this Airbnb Uber model, because we had in Harlem we had a florist that was damn near about to go out of business, to be honest with you, because nobody, the only time they would be booked, unfortunately, was for funerals, and so when 1-800-Flowers came about, like it literally saved their business, because now people are buying flowers for special occasions, right? The marketing push that 1-800-Flowers did around flowers, it like revived the whole flower business. Now, anything, right? Anything you can get flowers. And so now you start seeing, and I think I one day I ordered 1-800-Flowers, and then I'm like, nah, this is from 135th Street. And that's how I put it together. I'm like, hey, hold on, right? And so that's how, you realize that this model is not only helping businesses as well. So that's why I love it. So definitely, if you're watching, check out their cleaning business universities. We got a special offer. Go to insidercleaning.com, where you could just tap in and take advantage of what they're offering. Learn how to get the freedom, like that freedom of whether you have a 9-to-5, even if you're an entrepreneur. Like, would you suggest someone who already is an entrepreneur, would you suggest them to, start a cleaning business as well?
I think it's easier for them because they understand business, they understand structure, and they know, they already have the end goal in mind. It's like, I don't want to be a cleaning business owner, I'm going to outsource. And we had somebody who actually was an entrepreneur, and he hired a VA to start his business from scratch from our course.
Wow.
And I was like, I didn't even think about that. It's definitely.
Wow. And then what's the investment, right? So like, I get your program, and I'm like, all right, I'm gonna start a cleaning business. How much am I investing in to start my cleaning business?
So to start, we say $1,500.
Okay.
And
$1,500. Cleaning business.
To start your cleaning business.
That can make 7 figures.
Yeah, exactly. It's a low startup.
Sounds crazy.
It's a low startup business.
Yeah.
And that's not in one shot either. That's like, okay, I got the LLC. Now I got to market. Now I got to get my website up. That's like maybe 2-3 weeks or a month apart. It's not all in one shot that you're laying out $1,500. I know $1,500 for you. You're probably like, what?
No,
but for
look,
some people,
I don't want to look this way, but I'm like, somebody need to get on that.
for some people, you know, so yeah, $1,500 is what we say. And we have students that like, when we say that in like YouTube and stuff, they're like, well, I started with less. I'm like, yeah, but we're just saying $1,500 for those so they have some cushion and things like that.
Yeah, one of our top students, like you said, the entrepreneur thing, he had real estate, he had trucking, he had Uber, he had, not Uber, he had Turos. He was like, I'm done with all of that. He already had that mindset. He's like, I understand this business. I went all in. And he, like she said, he did 400,000 on year 2.
Wow.
Year 2, we did 140, maybe something like that.
Wow.
Year 2, he did 400,000. He's like, I'm going all in. He's like, I got it. I'm done. I'm going all in.
Wow.
I was like, trucking, real estate. He's like, the cash flow that I'm making every single month from this trumps all of that stuff.
Wow. And so what's the key to being successful with the cleaning business, right? Because like, man, you go from 100,000 to 400,000, and the startup cost is minimal, right? Like anybody watching this, y'all gonna spend $1,500 on whatever,
yeah,
you know,
maybe.
right?
Yeah.
And so now you could invest $1,500, right, and be able to create a business that can make you 6 figures, even 7 figures. Wow.
So the secret to success, I would say, is to keep going. It sounds simple. We were going to quit at month 7 because we didn't know business. We didn't understand business, and we didn't know during the summer people are traveling. They're leaving their homes. Business has cycles, so we didn't know summertime people leaving their homes. Business is going to be slower. So he was like, yo, this business is not working, and I was like, yo, just give us one more month. We went from like, I think we had $5,000 a month, and then I think 2 months later we had a $10,000 a month. So if you keep going, I would say that's a secret, man.
Wow.
Yeah.
I don't plan on giving this up anytime.
Yeah, that, and the hardest thing of the business is finding good people with anything, as you know. So finding good people. So we always say, if you continue with the contractor model and even an employee model, just always hire. Always continue to hire. You're gonna need it, because the way that we operate is, the more people we have, the more marketing dollars we put in, the more clients come in, right? So it's just a kind of, just works together. So always hiring has kept us successful.
And are you branding your people? Like, you know, is it when you hire, let's say, a contractor to send them out to a residence, are they wearing something that has your business name on it?
No, we're not, because they're contractors, so we can't do that. You can't brand with them.
And that blurs the line between contractor and W2.
So just like how you have Uber drivers that show up in slippers, and you have Uber drivers that it's a variation. I mean, they're not showing up in slippers, but it's just a variation of that. So we don't have any brand name because of that. But if you had employees, you could do that.
That's another question. People are like, how do I control the quality?
Right.
So we have a very, very regimented hiring process. We say out of every 100 people who apply to our job, we only get down to at least 1 to 2 people that we're actually going to hire. So the first 100 people who apply to your job, they're not going to be qualified. Our application is very detailed, which we put in the course, so that we cut down 50%. Out of that 50% who actually apply, who make the phone conversation, we have them fill out some more questions. Out of those 50%, we're down to like 25%. Out of that 25, we get maybe 10 people on the phone that we actually interview. And out of 10 people, we probably see 2 to 3 people in person. And we're like, all right, we're going to hire them. So we knock all of that out in the very beginning. And another thing is that our clients control our quality too. So after every single cleaning that happens, we have our operations manager call the client to make sure they're satisfied. We call them at least twice. We send a text message so that, number 1, the client's satisfied. And number 2, if they're not satisfied, we're getting them before they leave us a review on any negative platforms. So they control our quality, and that's how we stay on top of it too.
Got it. And then is this like location based, meaning like you guys are in Dallas? Like, could you be in Dallas and still open up a business in New York?
Absolutely, because everything is online, everything is remote. So I'm not walking into nobody's house, nobody, you know what I mean? So absolutely, like I said, we have one student that, she lives in DC, so she has one in the DC area, Albany, and Florida.
Wow.
And then we have somebody that's done San Antonio and Houston. And so
Austin.
like, and Austin. So like our students are doing better than us, which is what we want. Because when we started, we had nothing. Now you have a blueprint, so it should be no excuse for you, right? But we are only still in Dallas, but you can absolutely open in any place that you would like.
So why wouldn't somebody start a cleaning business?
Good
using
question.
your blueprint?
I don't know. You gotta ask them. I don't know. I don't really have that answer why somebody wouldn't do. Maybe they think, at least when he first brought the idea, I'm like, that don't make any sense, whatever the case may be. But now, as a business owner, it would be a no-brainer for me, right? So and you can do so much with it. This model works in any type of service space, right? Like maybe you want to do carpet cleaning, maybe you want to do organizing, maybe you want to do window washing. I don't know. This can work for anything. This can work for nails, hair, barbershop, right? I can own a barbershop and just hire barbers to do it. I don't got to do the cutting. Right? Or, so it works in so many different areas. So it's funny because when we first started the course, we kind of named it like service-based business course, right? But then 97% of our people were just doing the cleaning. So we changed the name to be Cleaning Business University. But I don't know why somebody wouldn't do a business that's always going to be needed. No matter what is happening, somebody going to need their house clean. Or commercial, somebody going to need a building clean.
Right. So think about this. During the pandemic, everything shut down. Yeah. You know what stayed open?
Cleaning business. It was essential workers.
We're talking about pandemic, talking about germs.
100%.
Yeah.
Skyrocketed. Yeah. Our contractors, their clients were like, no, I don't want you coming to my home. But there were people still looking for cleaning. We're online, so they're finding us. So we're still giving our contractors work. So that was one of the few industries that actually boomed during the pandemic too.
Wow. And it's like a $74 billion industry.
Wow.
Cleaning.
So it's bunch of room.
It's a bunch of room for more people.
Yeah.
It's a bunch of room for more people.
I love that. I love that. All right, y'all. InsiderCleaning.com. Take advantage of their program. And Janoka just told me something that I didn't realize. You could use this on any service business. Any service business. It don't even got to be cleaning. You can use it in any service business. So, take me back to 18-year-old Janoka, 18-year-old Anthony. If you could do with all the information, all the knowledge, everything that you know now, if you could do anything different, what are you telling 18-year-old Janoka, 18-year-old Anthony to do? What advice are you giving her?
I feel like life has been good. So I feel like life has made it. Like things have been put into place for me to make it where I am today. Yeah. So I don't know if I'll do anything different, but maybe in regards to like starting a business sooner than we did.
I was gonna say that.
That would be the only change.
I would still go to college.
I would definitely still go to college.
Still go to college, still get my degree. But I think after getting my degree, instead of taking that first job, my first job was like $8 an hour with a college degree, crazy. And then when I was making six figures, I still went back to a $9 an hour job. It's crazy.
Something happened.
So I would probably start entrepreneurship sooner and then more. Because I knew people in college who were entrepreneurs, but I didn't understand it.
Right. But yeah, when you sit back and look back now, you think about like, oh, that person was
I sold candy, I sold Pokemon cards, I sold jerseys from like Canal Street back in the day. Right. So I was an entrepreneur, but I didn't have, there was no structure for it, there was no mindset for it. So probably getting a more detailed mindset around what that was back then.
Yeah. Okay. And then what would you say so far has been the biggest mistake that you've made with money?
Biggest mistake with money, I think it was that sales tax thing. Anything else you would say?
I would say not hiring help sooner, not hiring an accountant sooner to know our numbers. Because we didn't hire an accountant until 2 years into our business, and we were just going, oh, we making money because the business account is growing, but we didn't actually know our numbers until she came in, and she's like, you guys are doing pretty good here. We endured it, but seeing it, so hiring an accountant sooner.
Yeah, because then we wouldn't have had to pay that tax bill. So yes,
she would have told us sooner.
She would have told us sooner. So I think that.
And so right now too, there's a lot of 9-to-5ers, even entrepreneurs who are watching the news. They're seeing interest rates are increasing, inflation is up, recession and all this, bad economic times. As successful entrepreneurs, what advice would you give to them?
My advice would be right now, we're very cash heavy. Number one, because she's just more risk adverse, but we're very cash heavy. So like when the pandemic happened, when things first did slow down for our business, I was like, well, we got the cash reserves. We're going to just start marketing more. People are still looking. We just got to find them. So I would probably be a little bit heavier in cash right now. But then I'm always looking for assets to buy. We have a few real estate investments, so just focus on cash and buying more assets. Right. And keeping your jobs if you can. Keep your jobs. You don't gotta quit your job.
Now is not the time.
This is not the time to quit your job. Please do not.
Unless you have it. Unless you have it.
The options are important.
Yeah, I'm big. I'm not really a risk taker, so I'm big with having money saved up. I mean, at one point it was like a 6-month emergency, and then the pandemic happened. I'm like, let's get a year emergency because I don't know what this is. So I think just like, staying at your 9-to-5 if that's the case, and taking educated if you're gonna do something, make sure that it's educated, not just putting all your money into it.
Yeah.
Because we have people that come to us and like, all right, I'm saving up my last $50 to buy your course, and I'm like, no, ma'am, don't do that.
Right.
Don't do that.
Right.
Like, and they're like, oh, I have all this that. We're like, focus on one thing at a time,
Please.
right? Because usually people can't do both.
Yeah.
Right? Maybe you're an entrepreneur and you can do that, but most of the people that are coming can't do both. So I'm like, you need money for a business, you need money for these things, so make sure you have that before you jump into something.
Yeah.
I think that's another thing. People just see social media and stuff like, all right, I'm gonna do that. But you need to have reserves because things are gonna go bad. Things aren't always gonna be good, right? So that would be something that I would suggest for people.
Yeah, no, I love it. Last but not least, what is next for the Hard Zogs?
What is next? That's such a loaded question, and we have no idea.
Continue to raise Alani, our daughter.
I mean, we have our business, and then we have the course. We also have virtual assistant business. So we have so many things happening, and then especially with me still at my 9 to 5.
So
and
next thing would be her leaving her 9 to 5.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
probably the next biggest thing that
Yeah.
that we focus on and figure out how we're gonna do that.
Yeah. What has been the biggest purchase you guys made as millionaires so far?
Great
Guess
question.
our house.
Okay.
Our house,
Yeah, a house, and we just bought it in December.
Was
It's
it
crazy. We were buying the house in December while he was quitting his job.
And having a baby.
And having a baby.
Wow.
When I told my job, they were like, all right, you're leaving. I was like, yeah, I'm also having a kid. It's like, you're leaving, you're having a kid. I was like, yeah, I just bought a house like across the street from where we live,
Not
where
too
we, where we
far.
work at.
Yeah.
It's like, you're leaving, you're having a kid, and you bought a house? That doesn't make sense. Like, it doesn't have to make sense right now.
Right.
Yeah,
It's going to make
but
sense
it will,
later.
But it will. But yeah, buying our house has been our biggest purchase.
Yeah.
Nah, I love it.
We bought your mom a car, too.
That was a big purchase too.
Nice.
From the cleaning business.
Love it. All right, y'all, stop playing around. InsiderCleaning.com. Make sure y'all tap in with the Hard Zogs. Any last words for our insiders?
Just where they can find us. Cool. So we have a podcast as well, Heart Zog Hustle Podcast. You also can find us at The Hartrimony on all platforms, TikTok, YouTube, Instagram, and that's the HARTRIMONY. It's a play on matrimony and Heart Zog. It was our wedding hashtag, and it became our brand, The Hartrimony, and the business. So that's how you can find us.
I'm just happy to be here, man. That's
All right, y'all.
Yeah.
Janoka
Thank you
and
so
Anthony
much.
Hartzog. Look, the multi-millionaire middle people who are killing it in the cleaning business. Listen, if you want freedom, if you want to make sure that you can spend time with your family, that you could go on vacation when you want to, you could still have your 9 to 5, but only be there because you want to be there, then tap in. InsiderCleaning.com. Learn how they did it. They paid over 6 figures in debt and created a 7-figure business, all while being a middle person and never having to pick up a broom or a mop. Never, ever. So make sure y'all tap in. This is another awesome episode of Inside the Vault. We are closing out the vault. Make sure that you tap in with us on all social media platforms. Follow us at Inside the Vault. Me, I am Ash Cash. Make sure you visit me, IamAshCash.com. Follow me on all social media platforms at I am Ash Cash. I'll see you next time for another powerful episode of Inside the Vault. In God's will. All right, y'all. Peace.